A wonderful morning to viewers across the world. It's Ayo Adams on the sports segment of the weekend show, and we're here to give you some of the, breaking headlines across the world of football. It's been rocking the football community with a lot of controversy with the Spanish Federation and Jenny Hermoso and the Spanish Federation female footballers who just won the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia, co-hosted by New Zealand. The controversy started when the Spanish president kissed Jenny Hermoso during the trophy presentation, and it had to cost a whole lot of ruckus. Well, joining me in the studio to discuss a number of topics, accompanied with the NFF also appointing interim manager Austin Eguavoen and the match preview. I have football blogger Matthias Anawo. Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning.
And the weekend show sport editor Gabriel Ame. Good morning, Gabriel. How are you guys?
Good morning. We're fine.
I'll start with you, Matthias. Let's go straight into it. Controversy rocks the Spanish Federation, and just before the FIFA Women's World Cup kicked off, there were also, issues with the Spanish Federation with a large number of players, resigning from the team with an open letter, and then a reasonable number coming back. They went ahead to win the FIFA Women's World Cup. For some reason, maybe the Spanish Federation thought these will all blow over because we won the World Cup. In their Spanish FA meeting yesterday, amidst all the controversy, the president kept saying, "I will not resign, I will not resign, I will not resign." And he also went on to state that for all he has done for the Spanish Federation, So, what is your thought on this?
Well, Rubiales, yeah, he has been successful for Spanish football. I think he came in 2018 and he won the National League and the Women's World Cup. But the action he took on when he took the spotlight from the girls,
yes,
the night they won the World Cup, So there's no excuse. It's unprofessional. His excuse was in the euphoria of the moment, and said it was consensual, and he watered it down to be a peck.
Yes.
But we live in a very socially conscious world now, and those kind of things, you never go under the carpet, you understand? So, for me, his action was unprofessional. He said he was lost in the euphoria of the moment. I won't be the judge of that, but I will give it a face value judgment. It was unprofessional and he should not go unpunished.
All right.
Whether that means him resigning, losing his job or not, I won't be a judge of that, but I'll say at least he deserves a punishment for that.
All right, a little bit of punishment for that, says Matthias. But there is a statement that was released by Jenny Hermoso after this incident occurred. It reads, I want to clarify that as seen in the images, at no time did I consent to the kiss he gave me. And of course, in no case did I try to lift the president, or do I tolerate any word of what he's been saying, much less making words up that I have not said. The back and forth went on, and during the Spanish FA meeting yesterday, you could hear the Spanish Federation president repeatedly saying, "I will not resign." He called the kiss a mutual and consensual more of a peck than a kiss, just like Matthias stated. He claimed Jenny Hermoso instigated the kiss. That's quite an accusation, and he publicly offered the women's coach, who just won the Women's World Cup, Eguavoen, another 4 years tenure. Well, in joint concession, the Spanish Federation women's football team have come out to say, "We want to state that all players who signed this letter will not return for the call-up for the national team if the current leadership continues." The 23 World Cup champions going along with 58 former Spanish women's players signed a letter condemning the president's actions. Well, that's the statement up there on the screen, reading what the Spanish Federation president stated during the Spanish FA meeting, clearly stating, repeatedly shouted, I will not resign during the Spanish FA meeting. He called the kiss and called it mutual and consensual and more of a peck than a kiss. He also claimed Jenny Hermoso instigated the kiss, like I said earlier. What an allegation that was, and publicly offered the coach who revealed that a 4-year contract. Wow. Well, let's see how this speculation, how this controversy continues to boil and continues to how it pans out at the end of the day. What will happen to Eguavoen? Just like Matthias mentioned, should he get punished, or we will see what happens. But many have been calling for his head, and generally across the world of sports, most people think he should, leave that role. But a lot of people have his back in saying that he's one of the most successful presidents in the history of the Spanish football. Now let's come back home. Just a couple of days ago, rumors have been stirring up the ports of the Nigerian Football Federation that the president has now appointed interim manager Austin Eguavoen, the former manager and coach of the Super Eagles, alongside with 2 assistants as interim for the Super Eagles, as Jose Pizarro's contract has expired. Well, it seems quite, it has stirred a lot of, back and forth again, Gabriel. And if we look at it, the Nigerian football, well, the women so far has been the one, taking us to higher places. Yeah. The men did not qualify for the World Cup. Austin Eguavoen was also the coach when we didn't qualify for the World Cup. He was also the coach who took us to the Nations Cup, where we lost out in the knockout stages. Do you think this is the right decision to bring him back as interim for the next qualifying games? And, bringing him as interim, what does that also state? Is a leg into him becoming the coach. Do you think that's the right option to do?
I think it's actually the right option, because if you look at the last AFCON, the group stage, we actually played very good football. Yeah. Like, I've never seen this for so long, you get. But so I feel he's the right one.
He's the right one.
Yeah, I feel he's the right one. And I want them to make it permanent, because I know he can take us far places.
If we look at the track record of Jose Pizarro, whether we like it or not, it was not that all bad, it was not that all great, but Nigerians have not been a great supporter of foreign coaches.
It's true.
So, you clearly mentioned that you want him to be on a permanent basis, but him being on a permanent basis means what will qualify him for that? Him being on a permanent basis, he's already shown the track record where we didn't qualify for the World Cup. Do you think he can qualify us for this next World Cup if they make it permanent?
I think he can do so. I think he has the whole idea and the tactics to do so. Because why I say I will prefer him to be permanent is because if you look at our previous coach, I look at style of football, the tactics. Yeah. I want to see football. I watch Premier League. Yeah. I want to see.
It doesn't look like the Nigerian football.
It doesn't. It has never looked. And then when I saw this from Eguavoen, I was like, no, he's the right person. But we didn't still qualify.
Matthias, what's your take on Eguavoen being at supposed interim and in interim capacity for the next couple of games before leading to the World Cup qualifiers and the AFCON qualifiers? And mind you, the AFCON is next year in Cote d'Ivoire.
Well, I'm always big on chemistry. You understand? You want to see somebody who represents you. You understand? Okay. So indigenous coaches, they bring that chemistry. You understand? So I would, like he said, he was superb in the group stages of the AFCON. But he didn't. Tunisia came and bulldozed us out. I think he has been unfortunate, because I felt that AFCON was like, it was for Nigeria. Yeah. At least final. At least.
But some would argue that the first match we got battle tested, that was the match where we lost. So at the biggest stages in football, it's the matches that people expect you to lose. When you win those matches, those are what qualifies you as a top technical coach.
Yeah, like we see what Morocco did in the World Cup, exactly. And it brought a lot of attention to them. Well, Eguavoen has shown promises, but I wouldn't really give him the job as of now. I'll say, okay, let's try him for AFCON and see what he can do. Let him end being the coach of the national team. Okay. I think it would be a challenge that he would like to take on and prove himself. Okay. That would be better for everybody.
All right, it will be a challenge that we would like to take on himself. Gabriel thinks he should be in permanent position post his interim. Matthias thinks that we should weigh his options. We should weigh his his results after his interim position to see where that leads. So to all Nigerians out there watching, go to our social media handles. Let us know your thoughts about this new development with the Nigerian Football Federation and the Super Eagles, as it's being claimed generally that Austin Eguavoen and a couple of assistants will be handling the job for the Super Eagles for the next qualifying games. Now, let's leave the shores of Nigeria and move to the Premier League, and not just the Premier League alone. We move to Europe and we move to match weekend, the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, and Serie A across board. We'll start with the Premier League. Chelsea last night, defeated Luton Town 3-0 with Raheem Sterling in spectacular form, scoring 2 goals, and Nico Jackson, cementing his first goal of the Premier League season. Guys, let's come to Chelsea real quickly. Chelsea in 3 matches, somewhat spent the most, you know, we're looking at how much Chelsea has spent so far. Chelsea has spent close to $1 billion, more than $1 billion in transfers window, 3 billion generally so far, and Luton Town has just spent 30 million. It's such a crazy gap. But we look at the team, look at Chelsea generally. You know, Gabriel, give me your thoughts on Chelsea. Chelsea played yesterday, you know, the one, well, some would say convincing, but all-round performance with Chelsea. How far do you think they can go this season with the players that they've signed?
To be honest, people watching me think that I'm being biased because I'm a Manchester United fan.
You're a Manchester United fan.
But to be honest, yesterday's match, okay, the scoreline showed that, okay, yes,
it was a good match.
It was a good match. But if you sit down to watch that match, it was the worst match I've seen of recent.
Okay.
So because the chemistry wasn't there, and it's Luton Town. These people are just coming
into the Premier League.
You get, so they are trying to put their heads together to try and see. But Chelsea, they've been there, and so they've spent, like you said, they've spent the most money, and see, they don't have anything to show for it. Okay. So I don't think this season will be great for them at all. Okay.
Matthias, you know, generally, let's go to La Liga. Jude Bellingham, 3 matches, 3 man of the match awards, 4 goals, spectacular player. Some would have thought, you know, him coming to the La Liga, I find a little bit stifled, you know, with Valverde, Camavinga, Kroos, and Modric. But he's quite a standout player, and he's shown himself that, you know, he's here for the taking. What's your assessment of Jude Bellingham, and how do you think the season is going to unfold for him?
Well, I've always been a huge admirer of Jude Bellingham. Yeah, because he's young. Yeah. Well, it gives you that character, maturity. It gives you that maturity, it gives you that boldness, and it gives you that aura of a complete player. He can tackle, he can score, he can assist, he can dribble very well. So yeah, I expected him to succeed at Real Madrid, and he's already doing it. He has never been shy of the big stage. You saw what he did in the World Cup. Yeah, you saw what he did at Dortmund. Last season, he scored 14 goals and gave like 8 assists.
And he was his Bundesliga best player of the season.
He was Bundesliga best player of the season at the age of 19. Let's not forget, he just turned 20.
Yeah, quite
so definitely, he's going to be a handful for Real Madrid, and he's going to do wonders there because he's a complete player. You can play him anywhere in the midfield. You can play him defensively. You can play him as a holding midfielder. You can play him as an attacking midfielder. So if you put him with what they have now with Vinicius and Rodrigo in the wings, and with the maturity of Kroos and Modric and the young Tchouaméni and Camavinga, so they have something in Real Madrid that is very dangerous this season. It's going to blossom.
It's going to blossom. Well, that's a fine place to leave it, gentlemen. We are out of time, and we'll pick this up next week. Just like Matthias mentioned, you know, Jude Bellingham has shown a lot of character. You know, 3 matches, 4 goals, 4 goals, 1 assist, and 3 man of the match award performances. That has been spectacular from the English youngster. We hope to see how he blossoms in La Liga. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you.
All right, then. It's been the Sports Segment on the Weekend Show, and we'll be seeing you same time next week. Bye-bye for now.